it's Amanda here with Homeschool and Life. Thank you so much for tuning into our channel. We love having you guys here. Today, I was going to share kind of about like our group and family subjects. I've already posted our videos of what I'm doing for 3rd grade, 8th grade, and sophomore, and everything should be linked in those. And so today I was going to kind of share like what are we actually doing as a family, and what does that look like. To me, in our homeschool day, I call it book basket time. Some people call it group time. Some people call it morning time, or I don't know, whatever you call it in your homeschool. But it doesn't matter to me. Like, just across all the ages, that's always like my favorite time of the day. In my opinion, the most important time of the day, because that's where we're typically doing our Bible, a hymn, some sort of character study, talking about life, just connecting as a family, or read aloud. But as the kids are aging, it gets harder and harder to do that because, they're just in different ages and stages of life. And, you have one leaving for practice here, one leaving for practice there, one coming home, one having this online class here. So last year, it was the first year that it was like a real struggle. And so this year, it's still a struggle, but I've just kind of changed my expectations of what group time or book basket, as I've called it since they were babies, and they're not babies anymore. I've just changed my expectations now of what that's going to look like. So I'm going to share what we're doing. So just to give kind of a quick preface, I'm homeschooling 3 this year, and one of them has 2 sports practices in the morning and a sports practice in the afternoon for a different sport. Another one of mine has sports practices in the morning, sports practices in the afternoon. 2 days a week they have a college class that they're driving themselves to, and then 1 day a week they have an online class where they have to be here. So the schedule is like crazy. I'll do a separate video and share about our schedules. And so just to kind of show, to even get us started for the school year, I made one, everybody had a color of what it might look like, and then I made one for each person by day, because it's almost like a block scheduling and all the days are different. They didn't really love this because they looked at it and got overwhelmed, but just for us, I needed to have some sort of idea of okay, what could this even possibly look like, knowing that this would change. And so I'll share about this probably after 1 more week, because I know things are already changing. But the reason I'm showing you that is because I had to schedule in the book basket time and the group time, and I didn't get it exactly how I wanted it, but I did the best I could with the time we had, with the schedules we had. So for example, let me start with this. So my big kids and I are going to do a Bible study together. It's countdown time, where I do not have them very much longer, and they are, she's a sophomore, but that ticks pretty fast, and I thought, you know what, I want to do a pretty in-depth Bible study with them before they leave my home. So we're doing this. Well, this is with their schedules, we couldn't do it every day. So on our schedule, I have listed 2 days a week, only 2, that we are doing this Bible study together. We've started it, and it actually works out better 2 days a week, just so everybody has time to catch up and, bring discussion to the table or questions to the table. So this is part of my group subjects. We're doing a John MacArthur study with my big kids 2 days a week. Another thing that I'm doing this year in a group subject is when my kids were younger, every single day around the dinner table, or the breakfast table is when it was, I would make them all breakfast, and while they were eating as little kids, I would read, Proverbs, I would read missionary stories of the Millers, I would read, some of these missionary books, all while they were eating breakfast, because they took longer to eat breakfast in those days. And even though my kids are old, we haven't done this in a while, I've decided that I want to read some missionary stories to them before, they're out. So I'm not doing this every day. I'm only pulling this book out on our lunch, when I can eat lunch before them, if the thing works out, and then I'll just read to them while they're eating lunch. And plus, they don't want to be read to every single day at lunchtime. But I just thought if we could get a couple of these in, then I would be pretty happy. And actually, Lauren gave me the idea because she is also reinstating this back with hers. And so the first one that we're doing is C.T. stud. He was a missionary in Africa. And so I don't know how long it'll take us to do this. Hopefully we'll be finished with it by December, but it's already brought in good discussion as a group. Okay, this is probably my favorite. I bought this, it says from Master Books. So it's a Yellowstone book. I bought it from Master Books. You could probably buy any great Yellowstone book, but this is probably my favorite thing I'm doing in our book basket time as a group. And it is because we are saving to hopefully go to Yellowstone, do the big West trip next year. My youngest would be the fourth grader, so the fourth graders, get the national park entry and all those things. And, we've kind of been waiting for my youngest to get to where he can hike and do things. And then my oldest, they're getting close to being out of here, and, it's an expensive trip. So I don't want to commit to it, but the time is ticking, and it's been on our goals to do that. So in Book Basket, I'm going to be doing excerpts from this, and so hopefully the goal is that we're able to take a trip to Yellowstone next year, and then they would have had all this year of like little tidbits of knowledge instead of cramming to figure it out before we go. So this is probably my favorite thing that we're doing in Book Basket this year. Then I just picked up, I have a ton of these types of books. This one's called It Couldn't Just Happen. It's Knowing the Truth About God's Creation. I would call it like an apologetics type book, just kind of answering questions. It's similar to a lot of the answers in Genesis book. I did a video last year where I bought a bunch of more books like that, and I can link to it. And I just pull from some questions just to keep a conversation going in my home. Oh, and I will say, I'll tell them, I'm not doing all of these every day. I just have a pile, and I do what I can with the time that we have. I think I've got Book Basket on my schedule with the kid, like with everybody as a whole, only 2 to 3 days a week. And that's where I get them for X amount of time, and they know it, and I can do any of this stuff that I want to. Something else that I bought, it's just like, it's going over the elements. This I like maybe read or tell them about one element once a week or something. We're not really doing this for any kind of credit. This is just for information and knowledge, and just that way when my big kids go take chemistry, they kind of know some stuff, and then my youngest just thinks it's interesting. It's just kind of a side note that we're doing in our group subjects time. Another thing that I bought, y'all are going to think that I'm doing all kinds of stuff in group time, but I'm really not. I'm keeping it so simple. I bought from Tea Time Together, just we're doing some American literature things in their Redefining School class, and it kind of, they have, it does it by weeks where you're going over like a painting, a poetry, a music, and it's just kind of some interesting information. I may do one of these a week. I might do it just as time allows, but I thought it was just a cool resource. In that Book Basket time, what I'm wanting is just some like togetherness, some interesting learning going on, and I don't want it to be like very rigid. Group subjects, this is just for my big two. We are doing the world religions and cults from Master Books. I'm leading this. This is something that, like, if you're teaching your kids, like, you need to read in advance and then be able to say it, because it's too hard to listen to be read aloud to. So, like, I'm having to make sure I'm prepared for this to be able to teach them, and we're planning on doing this over a couple years. And I'm calling this in my group subjects just because I'm doing it with my bigger two. And then my bigger two and I, we're also doing logic, but that's actually in their schedule as a class. I'm having, my two older ones are taking a Redefining School class. It's our first time to ever do that, and so we're in about a week, and everything's going great so far. We'll give an update later, but so far we are loving it. But the first book that they're going to read is the narrative of the life of Frederick Douglass, and I actually just bought 3 because I thought that I would just read it with them. That way, like, we can just have discussion. But probably, let me see my pile over here. Well, I put it over there. My Bible is over there. But the most important thing that I'm trying to do in our Book Basket time is just read the Word of God. Like, even if it is 8 verses, 9 verses, even if I am just opening my Bible and telling them something that I read personally that morning, that's what I'm trying to do. So our Book Basket time is about 30 minutes. 2 days a week, 3 if I'm lucky, and everything in this pile that I've just kind of showed you, I am just looping it through. Like whatever I can do in that amount of time, I'm doing. So it might be I read the Bible, we go over a Yellowstone something, and then I read them one question out of this book. That might be all we're doing for Book Basket that day. The next day in the week, I might read the Bible. I'm really liking the Yellowstone book. Go over something in here, or not, and maybe just go over a painting and an element. And then I'm releasing them because their schedules are out of their control, you know, like their schedules are dictated by all of their outside activities. And then my youngest one still likes sitting in and being a part of that. But as the year goes on, like I'll probably pull things like if we're doing something interesting in my youngest science or something interesting in his history, I might have a YouTube video prepared, or I might just have this is another example of our book group at time. In their nutrition class, they did like personality temperaments this week, and so like I had several quizzes to see if they always tested for the same, you know, temperament. But anyways, I guess I'm sharing that to let you know, like our group time is extremely flexible, but it is to me non-negotiable 2 to 3 days a week so that we can come together as a group and as a family. And something else, let me see what I got here. I got this idea from Abby from Rooted in Rest. I watched one of her back to school week videos, and I'll link to it so you can watch it. Something that she did was tickets, and I thought, oh my goodness, my kids would like that. I'm sharing, I guess this is like just because it's for my whole group. And it's just like a reward system to do something fun with our homeschool. When my kids were younger, we did a time system, and I'll link to that video. But now they have aged out of that. They don't have time to, you know, earn their time to get to do something they want to do. Like their schedules are busy. And so now during the day, I'm handing out tickets randomly for prizes. And I've just bought gift cards and some things like that. And after we share our first prize, I'll show you. And this is going really well as a group that all ages can participate. So I hope that video wasn't all over the place, but just kind of, I'll link to all the resources that I'm using, all the little books that I've pulled together. But basically our group time is short, simple, sweet, typically a Bible and 1 to 2 things that like I am just wanting to share, that I'm finding interesting, that I think they might find interesting or fun, because I'm trying to keep some fun in our homeschool with the seriousness of the big kids schedules. So looping it and just enjoying the time that I do have with them. So if you have any questions about what that might look like, feel free to send us a message. We're happy to answer. If there's anything you'd like to know, let us know, and we will try to answer that. And we thank you so much for watching our channel, and subscribe to it and like it, and we will see you next week. Thanks.